experiences with failed diets to think that weight loss can be accomplished only by food deprivation in one form or another. The most common form of fasting is counting calories and, of course, limiting them. But you have also learned that you can't starve forever. Eventually, you've got to break out of the straitjacket of hunger and go back to your habitual way of eating. Then you regain the weight you lost through great suffering, and in less than half the time it took you to lose it. The exceedingly difficult task of subduing hunger, it may well be impossible, causes many people to give up any hope of normalizing their weight. When they read my books or hear me say that they can lose weight and eat all they want, they can't believe their eyes or ears. But that's exactly what you do on the McDougall Program for maximum weight loss. On my diet, you are encouraged to eat as much as you want, as often as you want. There is no calorie counting or complicated calculations. You can forget portion control forever. In fact, you are strongly encouraged to eat from an incredible variety of delicious foods. Meanwhile, you will lose weight. You will feel great, and in no time will look great too. That's the experience of hundreds of thousands of people who have followed my program. Misinformation has got you in trouble. Throughout the course of this book, I'll be dispelling misinformation and incorrect beliefs that have kept you from reducing your weight and keeping it off. It's easy to have these misconceptions, many of which are reinforced almost daily by the popular media. When misinformation is repeated over and over again, we eventually accept it as truth. Let me give you an example of just such a phenomenon. Through the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, we were trained to believe that beef was the very best food we could be eating. Now science is proving just the opposite. Today, equally erroneous beliefs are being drummed into us. One of them is that olive oil is a health food. In fact, I'll bet you think of olive oil as good for you and sugar as poisonous. But when it comes to losing weight, you're wrong. All oils are 100% fat. They are merely liquid at room temperature. Like all other forms of fat, olive oil contains 9 calories per gram, while sugar has only 4 calories per gram. That means that olive oil contains more than twice the calories per serving than sugar does. In fact, fat is the most calorically dense food in nature. When we look at what your body does with olive oil and sugar, we find that olive oil is even more harmful to your weight loss program because it is more easily stored as fat than is sugar. The body treats all fats as reserve fuel, which means they are stored for the day when you have insufficient carbohydrates to eat. Those fats are kept in your adipose tissues, found mostly under the surface of your skin and surrounding your organs. In other words, that fat makes you fatter. On the other hand, excess sugar is stored invisibly in your muscles and liver as glycogen, or burned off as heat. As we will explore in greater detail later on, sugar is not readily converted to fat in your body, and consequently doesn't affect your weight or appearance. Moreover, sugar tends to satisfy the appetite by filling the body's carbohydrate needs and replenishing glycogen stores. Fat doesn't quiet your hunger. Consequently, people go right on eating this stuff and put more and more weight on their bodies. When we examine the effects of these two foods, we get a very different picture from the one that's commonly publicized today. We find that the calories from olive oil are easily converted to body fat and meanwhile fail to satisfy your hunger drive, all of which makes dipping your bread in olive oil a much more serious assault on your appearance than, say, sprinkling sugar on your cereal in the morning. I am not advocating that you eat lots of sugar, especially since it is often found in high-fat foods. But this illustration demonstrates how easy it is to have misunderstandings that ultimately cause us to gain weight. And as I said, this is only one of the many false beliefs that make it virtually impossible for you to lose weight and keep it off. By discarding these beliefs and adopting the McDougall Program for maximum weight loss, you'll find that losing weight is not the impossible dream you may have thought it was. In fact, it's actually